Okay, now. Trying to get this going. None of these are doing anything. Hello? Crap. Crap. Why? I do not know how to get the sound. No idea. I can't even type. Oh, you can hear me now? Wow. You can hear me. Okay. Wait. I hope I didn't turn it off now. Okay. I was expecting to see like levels moving here. But I guess that's not going to happen. Okay. I believe you. Okay, good. Is it like loud and clear? How's it sound? All right, cool. It's weird that I don't see like a level here. I would really think that I could see it. See, the option's not there. That's weird. How is the quality? And here's the chart. You're my test attendee. Think. So the audio's okay and the chart is clear. The chat is kind of delayed, but yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Oh, okay. So when I ask a question, I have to realize you probably don't hear it for 30 seconds. Okay, yeah, see, now I see my chart on the, yeah. It's like a 15-second delay or something. All right. So we're going. I don't know, It's something to do for fun. I'm always so, like, very disciplined, and on my main account, I do what I do, and I look for the best setups, and I don't overtrade by any means, as everybody knows how I do it. I may get 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 trades in a week. But I kind of been looking at charts for a while, so I could scalp a little bit and play and have some fun. I'm not going to hedge. I'm not going to add to... Well, you can add to losses if you have a reason to draw down. What's up? Welcome to the stream. So I'm just playing around. I usually don't trade Mondays. I'm not even opening my main account. Well, actually, I could if I see a setup. I didn't want to do anything on my main account until at least London opened and just see where things are. It's Monday. So I started kind of playing around with this account, which initially was 2,000. And here's my history, which has one $26 loss. And then these are like trying to get out and for reasons like around break even, or so I can trim a position down and put something on something else. And then there's the wins, which are starting to get a bit sizable. And it's kind of fun to see what I could turn this into. If I overtrade, and how about if I go back to 2000 where I started, then I'll stop there. Nothing lost, but a little bit of time. But also just the condition of the market right now is like good for this stuff. So this is kind of maybe a warm-up day, and I could throw some more money in this account and go a little bigger, because I haven't really like scalped aggressively like this in a while. So I can check what's going on in the chat. So you guys, yeah, let's hang out. What's going on? Have a beer. No, I'm not having a beer. Have a smoke. Have some tea. Have some coffee. Do you trade based off confluence? Sorry, my voice is starting off terribly here. Drink water. So think. Well, you're subscribed to my channel, but I guess you don't really You know really what I do. That's why you're asking. The question is, do I trade off Confluence? And basically, to summarize the tools here, the main thing is you don't see any oscillators, any sort of, the moving averages have a role that's maybe a little untraditional, but it's really taking the VSA kind of stuff that I learned from that, making it my own, taking a little of the Wyckoff stuff, and technical analysis. I learned a lot of that stuff, and 90% of it I don't use. I kind of ended up seeing what works and what doesn't. Like, for example, the fib area. So it's just kind of my own thing. I mean, I've been looking at charts for a long time, and I went through everything out there. So, I ended up kind of taking what works, making it my own. Like for the Fibonacci here is 50 to 618. I use as a zone. And besides that, right now, like the relevant zones I would be looking at, kind of small here, but from a 5 minute chart. And that's where I may have, actually I did close some of this trade. So I'm in this AJ short. But anyway, record? Oh, I figured it was already recording. I figured it was recording, like after I do the stream, I'll have the option to like post it. Pretty sure. But anyway, I could just go on and on and on for hours. So if you want to know more about how I trade, I have like 100 YouTube videos or something. But price, time, and volume are the most important things. Everything else is bells and whistles. I don't have any stochastics. I don't have any VWAPs. I don't have any arrows and bells going off. It's about knowing what the heck's going on. So in this situation, I shorted here in this area. What was it, like 82? And the reason why was, if you look at the bigger picture, the story has been really clear with things lately, where we were bullish for a while and we started to hit supply, and really predictably, I was talking about this last week, the big short Thursday and Friday is very likely coming because supply and weakness started coming in these areas. And then we had this classic fake break, high volume thing on Thursday. Very, very predictable. Those who are in the live session know this. And the way that it ended the down move, also looking at as far as how much buying and demand came in, typically when days end like this, or this is Friday, but still, we accepted lower prices. We didn't kind of confirm buying off of this area. You're typically going to be able to get to that area again the next day and get through it. So I'm actually looking for this or even lower. I'm just going to kind of hold it now that I took some profit off. And there was weakness that showed up here and a fake break pattern, which is typical of a fake breakout there. And then the very low volume test at the 14 EMA. So those who know my setups, that's familiar stuff. Where am I going? Wall Street Academy, never heard of that. Q Banks is how I learned to trade, and I trade based off Confluence. That's why I asked. Well, yeah, the more, but how you use the Confluence is another conversation. But yeah, I like I say, when the more the better. If there's level wise, technical analysis wise, one thing there, like a support right now here, to tell me to take a trade, that along with volume and price behavior there is enough for me to take the trade. But I need at least one thing. Now, that could be like on a 1 hour chart, a moving average. Then that's how I use my moving averages as support resistance, not crossover direction or anything like that. Or what you may use pivots or whatever down there. And you can have a few reasons. When things start to pile up, break test continuation patterns that also line up with like 50 fib and 50 moving average on a 1 hour, like, yeah, that stuff always helps the probability. Yep. but I think screen time is probably the most valuable thing. If you just use some simple tools, people waste time on. This is the AJ that I took some profit off, but you can see it was 82 that I got it. People spend a lot of time, I think, wasting a lot of time on indicators and EAs and all kinds of. People love their CCI and their MACDs, their this and that. And they're looking for the holy grail indicators or a combination of indicators. Don't do that. It's never going to work. The brain is better. So that's my rant on indicators, I guess, right now today. What else? Who's in a trade out there? How many people are in here? 9. Oh, 9 whole viewers. I have like 5,000 subscribers. Come on, everybody. I think, like most people aren't going to get notified. Like you got to hit notifications bell or some crap. But who's in a trade right now? So I guess I'm scalping here. Yeah, for fun. It's a little account. There's only so much damage I can do. It's just really good conditions for this too. So I'm just kind of warming up to it, and I'll probably size it up after today and maybe keep streaming. But started at 2,000. Only really one loss. What was that? I don't even know. It was, I guess you're wrong sometimes. Yes, that's the most important chart time. Yes, experience beats everything. You could have, I was going to go on analogies. Experience beats, it could even beat talent. if someone has enough experience. I trade UJ, gold, and pound yen. UJ, wow, that's the one weird one that I almost never trade. See, the way I see it, you could tell me why that works for you. The way I see it is that the dollar and the yen tend to drive the whole entire market at least 50% of the time. So therefore, in relation to each other, they're not very active. It's not very active. So you see like the lack of trendiness here. But it depends how you trade it. If you like maybe have a different approach to it. But you see all, this big trendy stuff. Like this is all dropping. All these dollar pairs are all dropping because the U.S. dollar is strong. So that's what's driving them. The differences are, the pound is maybe a little weaker than the euro was over the last 12 hours. So you have some slight differences in where they are now. But they're all being pushed down by the strong U.S. dollar. And then the yen also. This drop, it's not weak Australian dollar that got me in that. It's really the strong yen and expecting things to continue down, likely off of this little retracement. So you have strong U.S. dollar and strong yen driving the whole market right now. So relative to each other, there's not much of an imbalance. Like now we look at the same area, and it's flat because they're both strong in a similar amount. So relative to each other, they're not trending. And that's why, like, when I first started trading and talking to other traders, they're like, I hate UJ. It's the weird one. I'm like, really? Why is that? And then I figured out that's the reason. So you have all that trendy stuff because these are correlating and being strong together. But they're similar, so they're not. One's not trending much against the other. Okay. You get my point? So I don't know why that makes you like UJ. Maybe because it's a little less trendy, therefore maybe if you're like range trading, I don't know. Of course there are times when it is trendy, when the dollar is stronger than the yen or vice versa, and there's actually an imbalance. Pound yen, of course, is great. The beast. Do they still call it the beast? Pound yen is great. It could be your best friend or your worst enemy. So yeah, it looks like, again, if you know that the yen is strong and the US dollar is strong, then everything's weak against it. The pound is particularly weak. That's already at a new low ground. London open, couldn't wait. But these guys are probably coming down off of that retracement. That's what I wanted to catch. Something, for fun in this little account. And then see what's going to happen down there. So again, I shorted here at 82. I took some profit here. And now I'm see what it does. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but I'll see what else I can find too. Scalp it up. Let's see what we can do with this little account. So again, here's the welcome to the stream. Little $2,000 account. Playing with the short was here. This is the open position that I have right now at 82.6. And I did take some profit off of that. I mean, I'm over risking on it, considering it's only $2,000 account. I am kind of over risking. Yeah. I said the deal was if I go back to 2000 where I started, then I stop. Then it's a failed experiment. I should go back to being just keep my regular setups, my regular account. I also set this up, ended up using this to teach my daughter because I want her to learn this stuff. But she's only 7, so she's not quite ready. But still, I just want to kind of introduce her to the ideas at a young age. She's interested. What's up, guys? Welcome to the chat. All right, we're up to 16 people. Jimmy P, how are you? You guys could type. I'm checking out. I'll keep checking in on the chat. With VSA and Forex, I noticed a lot of reversals on low volume. Does this cause issues with your trade style? No. If it's on low volume, it's a whole big discussion to get into. Let me get back to that. Because wait. Think. Yes, I totally understand. I traded UJ a lot in 2018 and a little of not so much now. Okay, yeah. But that's the thing about UJ, which a lot of traders never really hear explained the way I explained it right there. That's just what's going on, which you probably figured out. But it's cool to have it out there and say. And that's why I don't trade it. I mean, not never. Sometimes you can have a strong U.S. dollar and a weak yen, and that's the most obvious thing going on the chart right now. So, yeah, I want to go long dollar yen. But that might be twice a year. And I prefer a market where they're correlating and driving everything else, like I was saying. What's up? Pop up for London. What's up, guys? 20 viewers. Hey. So if you're just joining, I'm pretty good at reading the price movement there, seeing what's about to happen there with the Forex. So I'm just having fun with this account, see what I can do with it at a $2,000 starting point. So right now I have the AJ sell running. This has been the history. Besides, these are the losses all grouped together. This is really the one. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to see what I could do with this account. Maybe, get back to trading a little more aggressively like this. Because, again, the market is in this condition. So I should really throw a little more money in this account. Keep doing this while we're in these good conditions. Yeah. You could set up an appointment on YouTube so next time we join, I saw you by mistake. And join. Yeah. This was totally just spur of the moment. So I didn't email my mailing list of subscribers which is from my website. I didn't do really anything. I just kind of did it. But yeah, I should do that next time and just let everybody know. Schedule it. Okay. Maybe this Friday or something. Schedule it for London Open. So right now I just have the AJ. So let's see. Again, I'm looking for that to get here, see how it reacts. It'll be good analysis in real time, even just managing an open trade. But I'll see also what else. I want to get into some fresh positions, maybe. But to see how it reacts here, if we can get to this point, and kind of manage it like I would a normal larger trade. If there's not demand coming in here, then I'll be looking at this area as the next test for buyers. And again, if we're just not running into demand much, it could do another leg down, which if you back out is like really nothing. Who knows? That's far away. But another leg down, perhaps. So what else? I'm clicking. Okay, there's. So I'm also wondering if you do live session every day. Yeah, I have a website where you could join that. I mean, it's a paid live thing, but I should do some streaming. I always say I should do more streaming, and I just don't do it on YouTube. But I mean, it's pretty cheap if you want to join the sessions that I do. So I do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for 2 hours. It's only $34 a week. And it's basically this, screen share voice and let you know any trades I take. It's not as aggressive as I might be right now today, but it's trading my method on my main account. So what do we think is going to happen? Here's the story. $0 is, everything is just so easy right now. Anyone out there who's trading my method, bought my course, a lot of my subscribers might have done that. You should be making money. It should be pretty darn easy. If you have questions, let me know. But the story of I don't know how far we want to go back to the beginning of January, whatever. Here's New Year's Eve. So obviously the first week of January we moved down and we hit we started to hit some demand, some buyers here. Usually, it's not climactic huge volume, but it's the two highest volume points of that day. Certainly sizable, showing, of course, a fake break pattern, some demand coming in next. And I was looking for the long entry that day. Didn't take it. Didn't quite set up right. Also, the 5-minute requirement for me to get in wasn't there. But then the next day, and this was on news, I think, it did finally set up. And you had that very big volume that you want to see when you're reversing directions. And it was not necessarily at the bottom where it typically is, but it did have a result of, sorry, it's probably so small. This was the result without supply coming in. And when volume may show up in a weird spot, which is typically at the bottom in a reversal, like these guys, look at the result. Also, the 5-minute gives some information to get into that. But that's when it became bullish, and it did a couple of waves up, and then I bought it from here on a fib retracement. And why? Because we have strength in the background, and weakness is really limited. This is all you need to know, right? These volumes. Then we come down to here. Here's your buying again, your buy activity. 618 overshoot, fake break pattern on the 5-minute. Oh, it's so textbook. If you know my videos or whatever. And then again here, and we saw it coming. Okay, here comes the weakness. So easy. It's into new high ground. Higher prices tell you about sellers. Higher prices tell you about sellers. That one. And of course that. And that's a larger fib, right? I think so. Fake break pattern. High volume leading to lower prices. So it became bearish again. This move on Friday was not a surprise at all, considering how bearish the background was with all this volume representing selling now. So there's the sell-off Friday. Again, those in the live session, we all knew this was coming. And then we went down to this support to end Friday, where we did see some profit taking on that selling, some buying come in to some extent, which typically you're going to see on a Friday. If you have a lot of short positions, you'll typically end off with some strength, some getting out, profit taking. But it did accept this error for a while, and this wasn't huge volume considering all the shorts in there. So I did assume this was not finished, that it may still have to do like a fake breakout or one more run down here. Also, if you look at the 5-minute, knowing the context now, the weakness did come in here in this area on a fake break pattern, of course. High volume, fake break here, and that was like pre-London. So It started warming up and kind of telling me, yeah, it's going to happen. At least make that another leg down. With the AJ short, that's even better. Very predictable weakness right there on a fake break pattern. Low volume. Now this, at the moment, I'm still holding some of this position. What's up, guys? Check the chat. The live sessions are great if you want to learn to be patient. Yeah, a lot of people tell me that's one of the biggest things they learn is patience. When I get into a trade, it's like, when you look back on it, it doesn't seem like it requires patience. I'm just doing it properly. I'm just getting in when I'm supposed to and no other time. But in real time, yeah, it can test your patience. But, trading larger amount of money, I don't like to lose. So the only thing I trust is my setups. So it's like, do you really have to be patient? You don't want to get burned. The only thing I trust is that. Now, scalping is another story, whatever, in a smaller account. But, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades a week, depending on the market is. In these conditions, it might be 3 to 5 a week that I take on my main account. But anyway, so yeah, we're having some fun with the scalp. The conditions are good for that right now. Right now I have the just the AJ short from 82. If you see the 5-minute pattern, you know why I entered that. If you know why I entered trades. And yeah, it's $16. I took some profit off now. Again, this account started with 2,000, so these are the trades. And we're just kind of having some fun. That's the challenge. If it goes back to 2,000, I stop. I have a cushion now, at least. But with this, it is seeing some strength, some higher volume at a low price with a bullish reaction. But so that's telling us that some buying is active. So the stop is at break even, and some profit taken off because of that. This was really, to get to the fib area. I didn't think it would do it so quickly, but I don't mind that. Was really the first thing. And now let's see what happens if we can get. Now, so that's telling us about demand. This 14 EMA right here is going to be telling us about supply, about sellers. If we can get a little higher, the volume is really going to be representing sell activity. I have this stuff very, very exact. So this is the exact area. And really, if we can touch the 14 EMA, that's going to be giving us information about selling. Now, it could spike up in volume and reject. And that tells me, okay, good. It's going to try to run down. If we can get through this, then we're headed another leg down, right? If it sits here without a volume increase, or really the lower the volume is, the less activity, less sell activity there is, and it may reverse back up. Then you have buying in large amounts, selling in small amounts. A little imbalance shows up here, and it's likely to move up because of that imbalance, and maybe close the trade. But at this point, maybe I'll just leave the stop at break even since I took some off. Yep. Fun with the scalps. Let me go back to the chat. What's up, guys? Welcome. 22 people. How are you? Can you check out gold? Sure. I used to be a regular guy in it. And I used to scream at the computer for you to hit the buy button. What? A regular guy in it. I used to hit. Well, scream, I don't know. That's very emotional. But yeah, let's check out gold. What broker is this right now? FXCM. Okay. So see what happens here, knowing that that's going to tell us about sell activity. It's kind of low. Well, I'll stop at break even, see what happens. Yeah, gold's been taken off. Oops, that's not gold. Ah, interesting. I haven't traded gold in a long time. Interesting. So this is since last year, middle of last year, we've been trending. New high ground tells you about sellers. That happened here. There's a lot of activity. Yeah, it's not quite as bullish as it looks so far. Let me see the 5-minute. It's time to come down, perhaps, for the near future. But let me confirm that. That high volume, again, let me go 1 hour. Okay, I was looking at a daily chart. So I need a more detail than that. Oh, okay. Okay. There's still... Okay. So this was really the last... Okay, that certainly had large selling. And this down move off of that was predictable. If you can see the candles there. Where does the demand start to come in? Here. Here to some extent. Again, if you look at the extremes and the volume, here to some extent. So there is some buying into these lower areas. And also you can look at the result of the volume. And if these more recent ones, which are a little more important now, this is a bit mixed. We'll get into that one. This, yeah, it's mixed because this higher volume is here. There's a mix of buying and selling in larger amounts here, not just straight up markup style. This down move certainly saw a lot of buying into this area. This area, again, this high volume started off a higher price area. It's a mix of buying and selling. That's just the facts about what went on there. There's sort of conflicting. Every time volume picks up, it's not your typical uptrend markup kind of stuff here or whatever, or weakness coming in or strength coming in. It's a mix. So typically, though, if you're going to continue in the direction you're going until really sellers overtake it. So, but considering the mix that there is and not quite a great imbalance, I don't think this is going to trend up very strong from this point. And it's likely going to hit more supply than demand once you get like to this point. So, yeah, if I had to make a prediction, it's going to do that. Let's see if I'm right. Yep. Because again, buyers are pretty interested here. This was huge selling, which is our background. Buyers were somewhat interested in here, and a mix of buying and selling. And as we're moving up, it's likely to continue that direction here for now then, and then again hit more selling, more supply here in balance and come down and kind of test a new low ground after that. Because the buying here wasn't much compared to the selling. So it'll probably end up maybe like an ABC retracement, that sort of thing. That's my official prediction on gold. This is for educational purposes. Don't trade it because I said so. But yeah, that's my take on it. Oh, I get what you're saying. You were saying before, hit the button. I used to be a regular guy in my live trading sessions, right? A regular member, yes. Okay. Your name wasn't pop up for London, so yeah, I don't know. And I used to scream. Okay, so I was so patient that you were screaming for me to get into a trade. But I did eventually. And if you look back on it, it wasn't a late entry. Based on my method, that's exactly where I was supposed to get in, probably, right? The thing is, it's about getting as much confirmation as possible before I start to actually lose my good position. So if it's sitting around and it's not moving, I'm not losing anything. Yeah, which you probably heard me say anyway a million times. On gold, the high volume was the war threats. Okay. But to talk factually about that might have been like kind of the trigger for it, but factually about where is big money positioned from, there's more shorts. There's a lot of short positions from this area. And this whole bullish situation It's just not what it appears to be after you run into something like that. Now, if we move up again and selling just doesn't show up into these areas, that's another story, starting from here. How's that AJ doing? So what else? Welcome to the stream. I'm having fun with a... Yeah. I'm having fun with an account. $2,000 account. It's at $21.39 now. Doing some scalping because the market conditions are good for that right now. And this is kind of a warm-up. I probably will add to this account and maybe keep streaming it. All right, so let's see. And I normally don't trade Mondays, and I wasn't planning on like doing a large position. But you never know, especially once we get warmed up and test a couple of levels here, see what's going on today. But at this point, we're talking about the euro dollar and all this weakness and this really predictable move here and this demand that did show up here, which is really the question right now, is are those buyers still going to be there if we can move down? And if you notice, there was some buying and there was immediately some selling on the test here too, and that was the end of the day, kind of equilibrium there. So we didn't see like accumulation or redistribution or anything. It kind of just found a balance of some high volume buying and selling and went to sleep. And that was Friday. But testing this area again and seeing what goes on there. If we're gonna be bullish, we're likely gonna do it by testing that area, probably doing a fake breakout and seeing some high volume and fail the breakout. Then I would consider it bullish again. At least something like this on a 1 hour chart would be nice in this area. Failing the breakout as a result off of that volume, then yeah, we're back to bullish. But if we kind of float on through without a lot of activity, it's likely going another leg down. And it'd be bearish, and I'd be looking for weakness. And that's like putting aside the larger time frame levels for a moment. But that's generally the supply-demand balance story here. But it's all going to be similar because the U.S. dollar is strong and the yen is strong. So that's what's driving everything, like I was saying before. And that's why everything is bearish. But again, you do see hints of some demand coming in off of Friday's lower prices. But like I say, with Fridays, there's going to be some getting out of the market. And if there's a lot of shorts going into it, which here is a lot, you're going to likely see that. It did continue down, though, which is one of the main reasons why I took this one. Sold here at 82. So what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. I should probably get more coffee. So this is the one position I have now. Let's see if I can get any more scalp stuff going on here. Coffee refill. Be right back. All right, so the stream is working pretty well, it seems. The sound is good. Craig, how are you? Does your technique work well on small cap stocks? Also, can you talk about the indicators you use? Yeah, this is really, really universal. You could really trade this anything. Some things work better than others. Like, for example, with cryptos, there's like I can't apply the same exact thing. So there are some differences. And to me, like, Forex is the most clean and matching the way I trade, with the liquidity and the way the charts can be, and very, very active, and your questions get answered quickly, and you get definitive answers on things. And so I just like it. But if you're seeing, if you go through my videos and check out some of the method, and then, take a look at your charts, you can see if it applies, and if you see, some of these familiar patterns and stuff. But generally, it really does apply to everything. You might just have to sort of tailor it a little bit. And talk about the indicators I use. Well, not much, right? You're looking at it. It's all about price and volume. Price areas over time. Knowing what certain areas mean. Not a million levels all over the place. No oscillators. No nothing. Just knowing, where's the big money position from? Are they still in those positions? Are they adding to it? Are they getting out? Are they getting in more? I ignore the fundamentals. That just means there's more activity. Things will speed up a little bit. And that typically coincides with a lot of times getting a setup. It could be the opposite. It could be buying on bad news, whatever. But it's really reading the supply-demand balance, and key levels give the best information. So it's not like candle by candle. I have to try to figure this stuff out. It's really the key levels. There's a 50 EMA test here today and a fake break pattern. And that was all I needed to know. That's testing for supply. We saw sellers coming in. This area is going to tell us about demand. It's kind of simple in the end. But, experience goes a long way in really understanding it. But it's really about understanding what's going on, what the big traders are doing, what they're looking to do and stuff. So it's not, indicator-based stochastics, oscillators. I tried everything. This is like getting to the point of what is going on. There's no such thing as oversold, all right, don't get me started. I can trash anything. And enjoy it. Those are taking it. Okay. AU is fake breaking now. Mr. Jimmy P, how are you? Welcome to the chat, everybody. Welcome to the stream. AU is fake breaking. Well, almost, right? Let's update this whole deal here. So this kind of played out already what I'm holding on to the AJ short right now. Took some profit off, stopped to break even, and see if we can get to here. The AU already did that. Why? Because the US dollar is a little stronger than the yen, right? And we can always just check that and see. During that time period, I guess. Or, off of that. So, that may or may not, get there. It likely is, and that's where I'll see what goes on. But this being there right now is going to give us some information. Which definitely showed some demand. Well, that correlated with where I saw some demand there too. But if we can get a bit lower, typically I have a box here, but it's so small. Actually, yeah, okay. Just covering the wicks is very, very accurate, telling you where you start to get information on buyers. Just cover the wick. Once you go box, you never go back. Okay, look, it bounced off the box. Right. Okay. Now that explains that. Right. So that's where you start to get information about buyers. If buyers are active and aggressive, they'll start buying right off of that. Okay. So that's what would happen there. Right. Also, lower prices now from that point are going to tell us about buyers. And so this is a good sign that it's likely not done because there's not a lot of volume. But let's see what happens. There's certainly some demand showed up. That's for sure. If this didn't show up, then all right, we're just going to break pretty easily. But let's see what it does. It could go either way. I mean, the thing was that, again, this was bearish in the background and trending down and normally. And it saw a bit of demand, but it's Friday, and I don't tend to trust that as some profit taking. So to see it again and get that information about how much buying may come in this key area or not, to really tell us where we're going, like for the day. So we could have high volume demand. We could sort of start decreasing in volume on the smaller time frames as it breaks. And say, okay, it's likely continuing this downtrend. I'd look for weakness to get in after that. So that's the way I see the AU right now. So that's an important area to see what happens. So I could, possibly take a long entry here if there is enough demand, particularly if there's a fake break pattern of that support. But again, everything's bearish, just some more than others, but they're all bearish because the US dollar and the yen are strong. The pound is particularly weak. So what should I do with this AJ? Hold on to it. Stop at break even. What's up, chat? 20 people. Are you in a trade? Who's in a trade? Are you in drawdown? Or you got sweaty palms? Are you looking for your next great indicator that's going to make you a great trader? Trend Analyzer 3000. Maybe you're studying VSA and you're not sure the difference between a reverse upthrust and a sideways roundhouse bar. Candy bars, titty bars. So many bars. So welcome to the live stream. Having fun with a little account. I think I'm going to get back into scalping a little more aggressively on a side account. I'll throw some more money in here and keep trading. Maybe I'll stream it. And here's all my wins. So it's giving me a little confidence that, yes, this market is really behaving well. That's the only factor. If it is, I can pull it out. Those are the total. These are just wins and losses separated. So it's been a good little straight candy bars, gay bars. Handlebars. Is this an upthrust or a reverse upthrust? That's illegal in 12 states. Dean, what's up? Yes, it's been a while. How are you? Am I doing live sessions on a regular schedule? I'm always so lazy with these things, you know. So I can't commit and say. But today was just like, let me just do it for fun, and really I should properly schedule them. And you'll actually see on YouTube, somebody was saying you can schedule it and people will know when it's coming up. I could email everybody. If I do it, it'll be Mondays and Fridays because I do, unless I do it after my other session. I do the paid sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So maybe again this Friday. I don't know. Should I do regular? Then it's going to feel like work. Pound is falling off a cliff. Not because it's that weak. Yeah, it's weak. But the U.S. dollar is strong. So anything, and the yen is strong. So anything everything's moving down against that. It's just a little exaggerated more on the pound. If we look at GA, it's ranging, right? Look at the pound Swiss. Not so extreme. It kind of needs that dollar and yen strength to really. That's why you're getting those extreme trends here. But we're heading into some major areas. We'll see what happens. Normally, price does not just drop in a straight line for that long. It's going to run into something. There might be something fundamentally negative with the pound. I don't know. I don't do fundies. What's that? Oh, the bars. Why not? What's up? Why not? Sort of regular then. What was I talking about? I don't know. Welcome to the live stream. All right, so I should be like seeing, if there's other opportunities. It was really about, it's like, I'm gonna scalp. Okay, what, I'm gonna take 12 trades, get this, that, the other. The way I see a chart, there's just gonna be a couple of really predictable moves throughout the day. Not 8 of them. More like 2. But let's see what we can pull out. I'm a patient trader. What can I just say? Let's see if I can get this account to 2,500 maybe by the end of the week, if I really keep doing it. What's that, 25% gain? Yeah, that'd be 25%. All right. So what else of interest? Okay, so I was just talking about these levels here. Euro-dollar, okay. So again, very, very bearish. Weakness in the background. Obviously, Friday's move, Thursday and Friday's move down was very predictable. If you're with me in the live sessions, we called it the big Thursday short before it happened. Yes, and it was like, if it happens, if it doesn't, then move on with life. But yeah, it did exactly the way we thought. Hey, fake break. Where have I seen that? So again, Friday showed some buying coming in, some demand. It's not enough to make me suddenly want to buy, and it's also on Friday where there's going to be some profit taking on shorts, like I said. So revisiting this area and actually seeing lower prices, it was very likely to happen. But now we can find out about demand. And really, now we can actually make a prediction if it's going to do a fake breakout and possibly move up, maybe a fib retracement, or if it's going to do another leg down. So let's get in there and see. And the higher the volume down here, the less likely it is a real breakout. So already it's telling us, we'll see how it develops, but that's the likelihood. So this could be a scalp here, or even a more traditional trade if I do see high volume on a 1 hour chart. Very high, because again, it was very bearish and a lot of short positions, very aggressively selling off. So I'd really want to get convinced and see a lot of volume showing demand. If you know my method. And that comes from regular VSA. If you're going against the trend, if you're buying when price is moving down, you need a lot of volume behind that to really know that you've switched over. So there's that. But, there could be something a little more aggressively where if there is enough demand here and lack of supply, it's doing some sort of move up to some extent. And that itself could be just a high probability, more aggressive scalp. But yeah, right now we're seeing that demand coming in. It was all about seeing that. AU also going to tell us, right? So we've been bearish. We saw some demand on Friday, but now we're really going to see if we're going to continue down or what. And we'll see the volume here. We're just getting there now. The support, the lower prices. This initially tells you like how aggressive these buyers are. And that's there. Lower prices is going to tell you as well. So it looks like lots of buying. What's up, stream? 21 viewers. I didn't schedule this. I didn't send out an email to my subscribers or my site. I didn't do anything. I just kind of did it. So I know I should schedule these things. It's spur of the moment. It makes it more fun. Can you look at Bitcoin? Yes, it's possible. What's the moving averages? Okay, yeah. How about Bitcoin after this? Moving averages are 50 and the 14. 50 and 14. EMA, exponential moving average. And I use them as support resistance. Test areas. There's certain meaning when you get information off of the test of these levels. But basically, it's like support resistance, especially when you're trending. But, I'm not using it for a crossover, this means bullish or something. So none of that. But like a strong trend, you'll often see them act as support resistance. Here's 50 EMA, and which gives me a reason to look to sell off of these levels. And the 14 EMA acting as resistance all the way down here. And then we get strength and we break it. So it's kind of obvious. And break this. So it's just a little extra information. But you see strong trends will just bounce off of these. And when they break, that typically means you're going the other way if volume agrees. Otherwise, I could be buying right here. So, whatever volume says. But it's like a support resistance in trending moves. When you're going sideways, I pretty much ignore them. They just be in the middle of the range. But today also, like the 14 EMA had to do with my decision to sell this 50 EMA. To sell the AJ here. Did it reach fib? Okay, yeah. So it didn't quite reach this area that I normally, a lot of my trades, but it being the 50 EMA, that's fine. I had something there. And of course, weakness coming in. Hey, still going. Let's go. Rocking the $2,000 account. Let's get to support. What are we making today? We'll order a pizza with my profits. Pizza for everybody. What was the... all right. Oh, it says it here. So opening price 82. It was originally higher lots. It was like 40,000. 28 bucks on a 2K account is kind of a high percentage. Should we take it? 13 pips. That's all I'm up. Well, it is the AJ. It's not huge pips. It's not the pound yen. But yeah, I figured it'd be fun. Welcome to the stream. Fun to do some scalping here on this account, since it's in really good conditions for that right now. Profits Galore says, booty. Booty indeed. So yeah, Mohammed, check it out. The 14 and the 50 exponential moving average as support resistance. So if you're in a downtrend, you pull up to a 14, you pull up to a 50. It's an important area to see if it's going to continue down from there. It's like a resistance. So let's see. All right, I'm holding on to that till that. So again, the storyline. We're bearish. We saw some demand. Hard to trust Friday. There's going to be some profit taking. Let's get down here again and really see if this bearish environment is turning off of demand and accumulation off of this area. Fake breakouts are the best way to find out. New low ground. And like I said, the higher the volume, the more likely it is a fake breakout. And I could do a little aggressive little scalpy here. Let's see. Typically I allow for a scalp may be different, but maybe not, usually not. Allowing for another fake breakout on the stop loss. So if the low here is 81, then I could put a stop at 78. And that could be like a 10 pip stop if I get in, like, let's say here. That would be a 10 pip stop. So we're in scalp territory. This could pop up, hit weakness, and I'll just get out. Or it could move up all day, and I'll just pick off some profits. But, reversal stuff too, it's better to not rush it. If this 1 hour ends up, we're just 13 minutes in. If somebody's higher time frame, there's the 15 minute. That's going to close in 2 minutes. And start to see, this higher volume here really confirm as time goes by. But the 1 hour, still has 46 minutes to go. So it's hard to judge that right now. But we'll see. So this is going to test for sellers at the 14 EMA. I could wait for that unless I want to be really ridiculously aggressive right now. I mean, it's a really good start to that, showing demand coming in. Factually, it did. But until we test for sellers and see the imbalance, or lack of sellers, because again, these 14 EMA tests will tell you that there could be a large weakness here and bring it back down, and then the buyers don't show up. This was kind of an obvious buy, but is it the real deal? Let's find out. AU, okay, good. So this is the new low ground stuff, which means this guy, yeah, baby. I might end up, I got to look at the partial position I closed. I could end up with 40, 50 bucks off this one trade on a $2,000 account. It's not bad. Okay, so this is what I wanted it to get to. We're about 1 pip away, but this was, I wasn't going to touch it, stop at break even until we get to this, and then we can find out about buyers. Now, if these guys are going to break, like let's say the result here is we just continue down and don't do a fake breakout and all that, and the buyer's really just temporary, then I'm short something, and I could still hold on to it. But what is this up to now? Go, little account, go. There's $33. And that's with half the position taken off. So could end up being a $50, $60 trade in the end. What percentage is that? I don't know. It's good. I am over risking. It's a $2,000 account. Go, little account, go. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Mohammed, checking them. Cool. Really, I figure maybe a lot of people here kind of know my method because these are subscribers, but yeah, I think maybe a lot of people don't. They just subscribe to a lot of things, so they're not necessarily like studying my method. But you can watch the videos and see how I trade. I also do live sessions and have a course. I do live sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just like this, but it's a subscription. I put the website in. And I don't do these live streams too often, but maybe I'll do them some more. I always say that. Meanwhile, I'm here today. Live in the moment. So yeah, I'm just having fun with this. I mean, I don't really lose money. It's just a matter of how much I'm going to make. So I want to try to get aggressive with this account, see what we can do. A lot of people have accounts this size or smaller, and it's possible to have it worth your time to actually trade. I mean, I'm sitting here, listening to music, hanging out. My wife and kid are asleep. I'm at my studio. And, making $50 or something on a small account is realistic. If you know what you're doing. Okay, yeah. Running into some strength. What I'm going to do is, I'm doing it on my phone because that's what I'm used to. I'm going to take some profit, because I'm going to take a little profit off of it. Leave my stop at break even, leave some on. Because of this reaction here, of this high volume. And the other guys are starting to see it too. So there's certainly some demand coming in. I'm not going to be crying if it continues down. If I just kind of listen to the chart here. Okay. So I'm short AJ, so I have to buy. I'll close half the position. Half of half now. Half of a half. So I'll close, 12. AJ, buy. One, 2, 0, 0, 0. Okay, I did it on my phone. There, it changed on your screen. Oh, cool. Oh, there. Yeah, look at all that. Notifications. I never use this. I just trade on my phone at this point. I use my computer for charting, but not my actual trading platforms. Okay. Nice. So this account is up like 8%. Right? Yeah. Okay. So stop is that stop should be okay. Is it still there? Stop is at okay. It locked in $1. Okay, good. This way, if it hits my, it's in the win category. I get stopped out at $1. Okay. So I took off. I mean, this is normally like something I would do in my regular account, is manage the trade like this, and you have areas that tell you very important information. This was a good start, but then we started to hit some volume here, showing demand coming in. There was your result. and that's worth taking off a little bit. And then again, this area and lower prices tell you about buyers. This was a target area anyway that's going to lose some probability on this down move. And plus seeing this volume. If this volume didn't increase, I wouldn't have done anything yet. But this actually confirms some strength. So it's kind of like, let the position match what's going on the chart. We could do a fake break, have huge demand, and I could just move the stop down. And if it becomes a fake breakout on high volume, it hits the stop, the trailing stop. So it's like, let the chart dictate how to manage it. Again, if it comes down and there's no demand showing up, isn't any large buying coming in, it's like doing another leg down. And then I can still lock in once it breaks that a fake breakout would get me out of the trade, but a real breakout has me sitting in the trade until some more demand shows up somewhere. You look at the levels to the left and everything, right? So that's what's going on. Welcome to the live stream. What's up, everybody? Hanging out. I'm going to have some coffee. Mr. Gene, welcome. Still learning. How long does it take an average trader to reach consistency? That's a really rough question. An average trader. The average trader doesn't reach consistency. That's the first thing. There's a flaw in the question. But I know what you mean. For those who actually do reach consistency, how long does it take them? Right. Years. But the thing is, it depends how you learn and how much time you spend actually doing something that's productive in your learning, or wasting 6 months on something that does nothing for you in the end, except teach you that you need to stop wasting your time with bullshit. So, if somebody's learning, like from me, my method, it's like you probably get it down in a few weeks, feeling comfortable with it. But then the longer you do it, the better you get at it. And that's even for me. The longer I trade, the better I get at it. So it's like, there's too many factors. What are you learning? Who are you learning it from? People get sidetracked and things. But if you're learning it right, like, there's no reason why in a week, 2 or 3, you can't learn the method. And then it's just a matter of practice. It's screen time. And the longer you do it, the better. It doesn't mean after 3 weeks you'll be profitable. It means you'll start making mistakes that you can learn from, because at least you're trying to do at that point. You just need experience. Does that help? So in the best scenario where you're learning, really learning proper things that are going to be good for you, in the best scenario, that I would trust somebody with my money, like someone tells me they've been trading 6 months. I wouldn't trust them with my money. I need at least a year and a half, 2 years to know that they've seen a lot of different, environments. So hopefully that gives you an idea. Cool. Best advice for learning traders that are learning is careful what you are learning. Because, I'm of course going to say, I know what I'm doing and it works. So of course I'm going to say my way is the best. But I went through so much of trying so many things. I got my first demo account in 2003. It was an infomercial on TV, which I think are now not legal to do because I never see them anymore. Solicit Forex traders on TV. But it takes a long time. The more you do it, the better you get. What was my point? Oh yeah, so I learned all kinds of crap. Actually, when I started trading, there was nothing online. There were no forums in 2003. But don't waste your time on the wrong things. And what is the right and wrong thing? I don't know. The best thing is learn something and take it with you. See if it actually helps. And don't be afraid to say, you know what, forget it. That doesn't work. I'm taking it off my chart. I'm forgetting about it. Because I think people that are learning my method, that ends up being the problem a lot of times, is they're carrying baggage from other stuff. Well, I paid this guy, and this is what he taught me. Forget it. At least give us a chance without mixing it with anything else. And see. If you want to bring it back after, fine. But yeah, I wouldn't, if something's working and it looks like it's really working, fine, but something's just got to be dropped. I dropped so much. I don't even use pivots anymore. Murray math levels. What's it called? Market profile volume, auction theory, delta charts, volume per price. Like, I could go on and on. And I end up with this like nice clean chart. Somebody should have saved me the trouble, but hey, I had to do it. I went the long way. That's fine. With euro dollar, so we saw this, right? Large buying. And this is going to tell us about selling. And that could also be large. And then we'll have a little fight going on. But if we can get a little higher, I mean, we are confirming a fake break pattern with strength. So right now it's bullish. But, it's certainly demand coming in, large buying. It just factually did come in. And that was the question here, right? But in order to safely predict an up move, we would need lack of selling, right? Then we have an imbalance. And again, a little bit higher, we run into the 14 EMA, which very accurately will bring sellers or not, and to give you that information. And the previous support to resistance happens to be that level, so we're likely just going to do right there and find out. And things tend to pile up on these test levels. This is also correct. Again, 50 to 618 as a zone. Forget the other fib levels. They don't do anything. So now we have this area. 3 reasons. If we can get there. If we move down, we'll find out about buyers. So moving up will tell us about sellers. We almost got there. We pop into here. Facts, we can find out. So that's if we move up. If we move down, we're going to be finding about buyers. And whether they show up or not is going to tell us what's going to happen. So if we see a high activity, typically not this high, but high activity again here, and the lower you go, really the more activity you should expect, then, okay, large buying you're accumulating actually in this area. But if we come down and volume is sort of flat or even low, we're likely going to do the breakout. So it's pretty straightforward if we can move up or down to get an answer here. Right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Yes. Warren, how are you? Oh, your name looks familiar. Warren Whippo. It looks familiar. I may have seen you on the videos. I hate not knowing who's who. Some people here have been with me in the live sessions. But yeah, I'll review the entry, reasons why I took the entry. Mohammed, Gene, for me, he's answering Gene, who asked about how long does it take a trader to reach consistency. Mohammed says, for me, I am on my 3rd year. So 3rd year, you're just past novice. Anyway, I don't have to read it out loud. Everybody can see the chat. Yeah. That's the thing that I say is until you actually know what you're doing, it's hard to be disciplined and stick to your rules or your setups or everything, doing it right and managing trades right, the whole deal, stop loss placement, risk. It's hard to be disciplined if you're not sure about your trading method exactly yet and you have questions about what you're doing. So it's like learn it on a demo, learn it on a small account, whatever. Probably better than demo. And the last thing is once you really feel like you know what you're doing, like you said, entering, random entry. Oh, that's scary. Stick to, yeah. And risk and check and all that. Oh, okay, Warren, yeah. Name is familiar. Okay, cool. So have you been trading? It's been good. I mean, it's always good to some extent, but it's been very good. Sometimes things are uncertain or slow or crazy, but Markets right now, this is exactly what else do you want from life, from the markets, than this. In the live sessions, we were able to really predict everything since got going in January. So we're trying to get an answer on Eurodollar down here. We talked about that. And I mean, that's really the story. What's going on down here as far as, is it going to be a fake breakout or are we going to really break this? Here, there's some demand to some extent showing up. Now, are we going to do a break, test, continuation pattern? Because this is a test level. We didn't get to the 14 EMA, but the support term resistance. A lot of you probably know this. See, this we didn't get to do that. We didn't break out and get to test it. We're looking at this stuff here. But here is a clean break, test, continuation pattern, which is a bearish pattern. Or, if we get above this level, a fake breakout pattern, which is a bullish pattern. So that's what we're waiting to see here, too. But the question about the AJ setup was, long story short, everything is bearish going into today. Now we're actually testing for demand, and things may turn bullish. If they do, it could be off these levels or slightly lower. But going into today, generally since Thursday, which was very predictable last week, it started creeping in Wednesday into the higher prices, and Thursday came the big short. Thursday and Friday, things are very bearish, generally because the U.S. dollar and the yen are strong. So everything moved down. And we're talking about back here, Thursday and Friday. Now, the way Friday ended, again, you see some demand here, but typically you'll see that on Fridays, some profit taking. There's a lot of shorts. And so, that doesn't really make me want to buy right there. But then it also continued down. So that's maybe a little less significant in trying to predict what's going to happen Monday. There's going to be some demand coming in down here just because it's Friday and they're taking some profit down there. But also that the AJ in particular continued into new low ground. And this is, the weekend gap. We don't really, it's not, we don't have the information, the price in there. But to settle down to this area and not confirm strength or see any sort of, this lower prices on low volume suggests that it's not done with the down move and we're not in accumulation. And it is really just sort of Friday's blip of demand. But this was key to get to this point. And the 50 EMA, the 14 EMA, the fib area, these all tell us about sell activity and likely, if there's weakness, bring it down to this area before, if things are going to turn bullish, it's going to be likely off of the support. So then, and we'll find out if we get there. So then the 5-minute is really, really just my classic pattern where you have weakness on the, we have a high form and then the fake breakout, and there's really clearly the weakness. And this was sort of a slow time going into the Euro Open. But suddenly the activity popped up. And my favorite pattern, the fake breakout. And then the lack of demand on the 14 EMA test. So there's the imbalance. Strong selling, large selling, lack of buying. And even in here, testing this little support, no high activity. And then this high volume leading to lower price, just aggressive markdown. So entry here, 82. Now we're seeing that same thing potentially in reverse where we get some buying and we're going to test for sellers here. See what goes on. But I didn't take it in my main account. I wasn't planning on trading that today. It's Monday. And again, I'm just kind of maybe get back into scalping a little more aggressively. So I just had the side account to do that today. And which I've taken some trades on before today. And get back into this mindset of maybe taking 7, 8, 9 scalps a day, 4, 5, 10. Depends on what's going on. I always end up going back to what's the predictable 1 or 2 moves of the day and just trading that. I can't even force myself to overtrade at this point. I come here to scalp and it just turns into my regular method where I want to see what's going to happen here, and I'm just trying to predict the next leg here. If it bounces today, or if it breaks, or if it's uncertain and it may get stuck or something because we don't have a clear answer and it's conflicting. That's what else is there to know right now? What's it going to do here and then here? And if we move up, catch a little move and sell there, like, how crazy are you going to get with scalping? I always come back to just what's the one or two moves today that's going to be obvious. And moving down to this was obvious. And, by seeing what happens down here, the next move for the day should be obvious. We'll see. I could go with, doing something once we get, as far as scalp and trying to just have fun with this little account, is once we get a clear answer off of these supports. Because this AJ short has stop at break even now. And, there's ways to manage it if we get trouble down here. But if we get an answer, bounce or break, AU, Euro dollar, then I could put something on there, a scalp, or whatever we're calling it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Drink some coffee. It's 4:36 in New York, and all is well. Let me catch up on what you guys are saying. Mohammed, still not profitable, but start to not lose my money when I understand money management. Yeah, it's a steady process like that. You'll eventually get to the point, and I guess you're kind of there now, where at least you're confident you're not going to lose, and you're not going to have losing streaks, and you're not over risking, and no discipline and BS like you're playing a game. So if you're at that point now, yep, that's a big marker. Yeah. Baby steps. You'll fail, and then you'll get it right. You'll fail, you'll get it right, but you're always moving up the ladder. Mr. Jean, thanks for the tips. Very welcome. I will try to commit more time to trading. Yeah, if you can. I mean, like, I barely think about it now, and normally I'm not even scalping and spending that much time. I kind of do my analysis and I set alerts, and if I get what I want, I get what I want, or not. But of course, there was a time where I was completely obsessed with it. I had a job, but all weekend, it's like, oh, it's Friday, the market closed. What do I do? Back test, study, learn, understand. What I used to say? If every Friday at the end of the week you feel like you learned something, you're a little smarter than you were last week, then you're on track. It really is a long process. You can say that about any skill, though. You're learning to play drums. You're learning to be a coder. There's just no way around. After 6 months, a year, 2 years, you're not going to be as good as 5 years, 8 years, 10 years into it. It just is what it is. So as long as you're making progress. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We're having fun with the $2,000 account. Why not? It's Monday. I never trade Mondays. But the conditions are ripe. Just ripe. So here. So Euro dollar, we get to find out about supply sellers right there. Going to get some information. Fake break. Here we go. Right, we're talking about break test or a fake break. Okay, so if this stays above this level here, we're confirming a fake break pattern. And, of course, 14 EMA test. So a lot of times when things are nice and clean like this, things will more or less correlate on a test. Here's the pound, which did a few minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier. But you see the 14 EMA and the rejection and the increase in volume there. This one's a little ahead of the other ones. Maybe the pound is quite weak. But you see that this one touched the 14 EMA. And you see that slight increase in volume. Again, the 14 EMA represents sell activity. In this environment, we can look at the imbalance of buying and selling. And that's why there's a slight increase, because we got to the point where if sellers are active, they're going to start to kick up their activity there. Now, that could have been really high. Let's say that was up here, right? Then we're going back down fairly quickly, and if these buyers don't show up, we do another leg down, and things just keep going in the direction they're going until we do get a proper imbalance of more buying than selling. But here's a moderate amount. So it could resolve itself by moving up through that area. That's the automatic rally now, first level resistance after strength. If we move up through this test area on low volume, all right, we have an imbalance. Active buyers, lack of sellers, and so on. We'll follow the storyline. This is the game at reversal points. So here, we got our answer here, 14 EMA, support to resistance, little fib of this little move down, whatever, take your pick, it's a test area. So this is representing sell activity. No huge increase. Right? It's not up here saying we're likely getting smacked back down here. This is starting to behave like a real fake break properly with imbalance. And the 1 minute charts us to see, because this is the area on the 5 minute that we're talking about. No big spikes of weakness coming in there. Initially here a little bit. And of course there's our buying. So like I said, this might be something to go for on the scalp. I still have the AJ with like a third or so of the original position, which is not a million pips here. It's only up 12. But it was pretty large lot size considering the account size. So the return will be pretty decent. It's scalping on steroids. Don't try this at home. I used full margin, and every month I add money that I lose now. Now I don't do. Oh, yeah, exactly. I was going to say, no, don't do that. Every month you would add money that you lose. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. The best advice is if you start with a small account, let's say 500, and you're at the end of the week, you're down to 450. You cannot put money in that account. At the very, very least, you better get that thing back up to 500. Otherwise, go find something else to do. Right? But if you start with a $500 account and at the end of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's up to 550, 575, 6, throw another 100 in there. Reward yourself. Right? So then you deposited 6. If you get down to below 6, you got to make it back. You can't put any money in. And if you burn that account, go look for a job. go back to start from scratch. Clear your mind and reset. But so yeah, that's the way I always say growing a small account. So I could do that on this and say, okay, I started 2,000. If I ever get below 2,000, I'm not adding to it. Actually, I probably would chill with the aggressive scalping if I just burn out this 145 that I made on it. Then I'd have to question my skills, but I'll go bigger and bigger too. It's nice to have a little padding. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, if I get this up to 25 by the end of the week, I could throw another 5. I could throw another 1,000 in and grow it like that. This is probably a good example of how to do this on a small account. If you really know what you're doing. Here's my wins. Here's my losses. Again, these are like basically break even just because whatever reason. I didn't like to trade anymore. I wanted to free up some margin for a different trade. Right? So that's what that is. It's actually one loss. And then these guys, which here's the biggest wins. But again, the market has to be right for this. I can't just do this any time. I mean, this set up before London Open. I was short before London Open on this. Like, that's something, 30, 50% of the time, I wouldn't think about getting into a trade before I see what's happening in London Open. So again, the conditions have to be right for this stuff. What's up? Back to the chat. What's up? We're live streaming. What's up? We're playing with a $2,000 account. What's up? Yeah, agree with you. I am stick with 2K, small trade size. I'm fine. Yeah, it happens to me. I lose what I earn, but will never gamble again. Yeah, I see what phase you're in. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. Yeah. Pop up for London. Unfinished use all over the chart. I know, right? I used to be getting into a trade. What am I doing? Backwards J's. Unfinished use. I see them in my sleep. He's talking about this shape showing the imbalance. High volume demand, low volume supply. If we come down here, that would be another chance for that U to do its thing with the dip in the middle. Yes, sir. Unfinished use. Exactly. Where do we see him so far? Well, certainly on the AU. AJ, so, I mean, again, it's a small trade, whatever, but to manage it the way I would manage any trade, I took partial profits, tops at break even. And if we can pop down here into really where it's very likely to go before it reverses, if it does at all. So we're likely getting there. Now we're at the test here. Come on, sellers. But if we get down here, then I can move my stop. If there's a lot of demand, I can just close it. You know, I'm waiting for that. Knowing that I already took off enough of the trade percentage-wise that I'm okay with whatever happens. You know, it's not going to turn into getting nothing off the trade. This account today, when I started, what was it at? I think it was like 113. So what else? More coffee. We're streaming. Well, it's been like an hour and a half already. But yeah, I might go long on some of these. Let's let them get to properly get through the test areas and see what they're looking like. Okay, I'm all caught up on the chat. So playing with a small account. Let's see what we can do. You're $1. Testing for sellers. Moderate amount of sellers. This is a decrease here. It could really dry up in this area. If we sit here and volume really decreases, then it's likely going. But again, simply put, this is telling us about sellers. This is telling us about buyers. This one hit a bit of volume. And it's not into lower prices, it's into the test area. You see that? So this is likely going back to the low right here. So this was the automatic rally. And this was the attempt to push through and test again at this level, which has been established before. Test there again. And, you know, you can check the 1 minute because it's about price areas, not time frames. So you get a little more detail on that price area, which is marked at this point in time as resistance. So there's weakness coming in. Now, it's not huge. Here's our demand. But it's showing that the imbalance isn't so extreme where we're likely just going to go and mark up. Typically, you get a little issue with supply coming in. You go back to the low, and then buyers will show you what they're up to. And they may show up large. They may not show up at all. Right? So we figure it out from there. It's the game at reversal points, at pullbacks. It's the 5 minute pattern that I work off of. But it's all kind of correlating more or less the same story. Certainly some demand showed up. But let's find out about sellers. And so far it's a moderate amount. So we're likely head up. But let's see. And that's going to become, just starting to become the automatic rally at this point. It's the 14 EMA test, which typically sets up a little resistance. That's AU. Let's see EA to kind of see what's going on compared to each other, since we're kind of looking at those two. Maybe seeing weakness on euro versus the Australian dollar, which would make the Australian dollar stronger, which would make the AU a better long trade than the euro dollar. If that's going to continue to be the case, I don't know. I don't do EA. Whatever. It's ranging. It's in the middle of the range. They're kind of taking turns, one being stronger than the other. It's not really a huge factor in picking a trade. Well, some very low volume here. So initially, again, with the pound, you see some weakness. But if you sit here and it dries up, meaning volume drops, and you move up and volume's still low, then you really found the imbalance. So that could be forming there. Where is this? It's not quite... Let's... Okay, we are in a zone. Enter the Zone. That's my new solo album. It's instrumental guitar. Oh, no supply. Yeah. Oh, so maybe I'll grab a little something long on the euro dollar. Let's see. Stop loss. Allowing for a fake break. Like I said, it's like 10 pips. Let's see what it's doing right here. If there's low volume at this point, then I will be putting something on it. And again, don't try this at home. I'm not giving signals. This is for educational purposes. Past results may not reflect future. Don't do anything stupid. Don't blame me. Okay, good. I do take losses. I am wrong. It happens. Okay, let's see here. Oh, yeah. It looks like it wants to do it. It's going to be a lot of volume there, but I'm going to start with something on this. Let's see. What's this going to be? $1.50 a pip? Let's do that. Okay. So put a little something on that. I already know there's going to be some supply coming in here. I'm not worried about it. So what was my entry? $92. Stop loss at. Allowing for another fake break, so we're a little over 10 pips now. Probably 77. So 15 pips stop. Which is like $20-something, right? So, all right. Let's see what we get here. Okay, let me put my stop in. Oh, you could see it here, what I'm doing. Yeah, there it is in real time. What was it? I put 76. Okay, 16 pip stop. It will be $24 loss. There it is. So if I lose $24 in that trade, it'll be back to 100 and whatever, 15. All right. Growing the small account. Let's do it. Get it to 25 by Friday. Oh, look at all that weakness after I got in. Oh, gosh. Let's see what the 1 minute looks like on that. All right, it wasn't initially on the break. But yeah, we may dip down and do a fake break. That's what stop losses are for. Actually, it does allow for another one. But if that moves down, the AJ is likely going to continue with the short. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I don't mind that, having a little something on this long. If you want to be more patient, I would wait for this to close above here without weakness. It was once I looked away that happened. Because we spent a couple of minutes up there. Which is actually a good sign. Again, like I'm trading, I do the whole background analysis, largest time frames, and then I'm looking at the 5 minute for the actual pattern and the setup. But the 1 minute gives you some extra information. But I don't trade off of it as in what I need to see to get into a trade properly. It needs to be right on the 5 minute. But it's about price areas, not time frames, unless you're looking at indicators. And then every time frame is different. And that's silly. What's up, chat? Let's see. All right. Well, don't take it because I did. Oh, you're in from 109. Okay, let me see what that is. Fake break. That 5 minute just popped down at the end. 05. Wait, what? Did you say Eurodollar? No, not 05. 10.9. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. There. This level. Yeah, I'm at 92. Because of the spread. This is the sell price. So if I'm getting out of a trade, this is pretty representative of what's going to be going on my broker too. It's this if I'm getting out of a long. But you have to mark it up for the spread. If you have a 2-pip spread or whatever. So I'm in at 92. Well, that was here anyway. Yeah, 90 plus spread. Having fun with this. Oh, look out. What do we got? That was kind of premature, too. If I was, like, really, really being picky, I would wait to see some other things confirm bullishness. And, I mean, it's still likely enough where I'm, having fun, a little more aggressive on this account, whatever. But to really be safe, to see this close properly is pushing through, right, without high volume, so that's not great. And to see some of these other guys also confirm that pattern. Okay, the pound is starting to confirm breaking through the 14. Again, there's a lot of activity there, but we'll see the result. Effort result. This guy didn't quite break through. It's just going to help everything. If they're all kind of above here, above this test area without seeing weakness, without seeing high volume. This is still hanging around. What's up, guys? 23 people. All right. The number's at least not shrinking. Again, I didn't schedule this. I didn't really alert people to it. So just kind of spur of the moment. Having some fun. It's a Monday. I don't normally trade Mondays. But again, these conditions are good for this stuff. And like I said, just playing with this small account. That started at 2,000. And I was using this to, like I said, show my daughter who's 7. But she's a little too young. But I wanted to introduce her to some things. Just you get exposed to something when you're young. It tends to become a little more natural. We're talking about supply and demand. She likes to be teaching her things. So I took a trade in here. I'm like, look, let me just show you how it works. I'll just take any trade, It was probably, one of these little small losses or whatever. And she started getting nervous, like I saw a reaction when it started to go negative. Like, all right, get it out of your system. It's okay. Oh, yes, the Bitcoin question. It depends on what you're looking to do with it, but generally it's probably buy the dips at this point. But let's look at the chart. I'm not scalping it. I'm not doing kind of what I was doing for a little while because I don't have the the lack of fees that I was able to have access to. So, I mean, this is like ever changing, and it was nice to scalp with no fee. This is not my charting. Why is it loading this? Anyway, I can look at Bitcoin here. Oh, I know. My other browser should trading view. So I don't have access to. I tried with other brokers, but it was like I wasn't eligible where I live. It's an ever-changing thing, and right now there's fees with what I was using Coinbase for scalping. It's just terrible now. Before, if you were a market maker, you put in a limit order, there was zero fee, like zero spread, like zero. But now it's the same whether you get in a market order, limit order. There's a higher fee unless you're trading really large amounts. But so for me, I would do like a longer term thing, which I have some long sitting on there. But right now, this uptrend, the latest information is here's the amount of selling we saw. This indicator is kind of something I messed with, right? Kind of accurate as far as this representing selling and this representing buying. To some extent, you got to still see the reaction and use your brain. But there's a fake break with weakness. The weakness started to creep in there off the high price. We know this stuff, just like the Forex or anything else. And then on the retracement, to see it hit high volume, yeah, it's a big move, so there's going to be a lot of activity. But the result, we were not able to get down to that bottom or one tick lower yet. And to do that, we might see, similar to what we're talking about now, we might see a double bottom fake break and more buying, or one more leg down, like an ABC retracement and buying again. But so generally, I would be buying dips until there's some very large weakness. Now, one of the differences between the cryptos and Forex is in an uptrend like this, you'll see high volume weakness and it'll just keep going. And it'll just keep going and just keep going. So that I don't take as something that I have to listen to necessarily. That's a big difference in how I trade it. So in this case, like I would be seeing this and not even considering talking about long positions. But when you drop down and you get some huge buying, yeah, okay, you're just going to keep going and likely rip right through those areas and not have to worry about it. So it's a little different. Like if you have a strong uptrend, there's going to be some large selling on the way up. It's just going to be there and you have to live with it. And consider all the information you can get as far as patterns, if things double top. If this breaks this low, do large buyers continue to come in or not into a dip here and kind of piece it all together? But this is likely heading to this high sooner than later, maybe one more leg down. And I could buy a dip, or if we get, like to a larger fib retracement, I can put something in longer term to buy. That's all. That's the way I'm dealing with it. But I don't do any crazy, 20-minute analysis on Bitcoin that's going to be anything special. With an Elliott wave, waves within waves within waves. I don't know. I just keep it simple at this point with Bitcoin. I can relate to your $2,000 account. I buy my kids something and end up playing with it 3 a.m. when they are asleep. This exactly. Like, Let's see, how's our euro doing? I want to get to the point where I'm just not rushing it with her. Again, she's 7, so yeah. I just wanted her to kind of see it, get a feel, like understand, like if it goes up, I bought. So if it goes up, I make money. It goes down, okay. She got a little nervous when it went negative. It was funny. Like, it's $1.75. It's okay. Oh, that's not good. And I'm like, what do you think I should do? Close it? She's like, yeah, close it. Well, let's see what happens, because this might happen. I'm like, oh, okay. Eventually she lost interest. She went back to watching YouTube. But, you know, get her feet wet. I think by the time she's a teenager, she should be doing. Unless she hates it, I'm not going to force her. But you know, it'd be good if she starts. You know, we make some trade decisions together, make a little profit in the account, and then okay, here you can have it. Let's go buy something. Like, let's go buy a toy with the money. Like, oh, okay. It equates to real life good things to learn this. Ah, yes. Mr. 10. Oh, sorry, I missed your, let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a whole section of the chat here. It has been, okay. Trying to pick up where I left off. I'm still using Pepperstone for my volume feed. Is efficacy better, more reliable? Better, I don't know, Pepperstone is fine too. I'm not so concerned like I used to be with volume per broker, as long as it's nothing weird going on. A lot of them are fine. FXCM should be fine. They used to have weird stuff with volume. It's no longer like that. Pepperstone seems to always be reliable. They should be similar. If there's any huge difference, then one of them's off, you know. Gold 5 minute. Okay, we'll get back to that. I want to answer some of these questions I missed from Mr. Take these broken wings. Can anyone tell me what is automatic rally or unfinished use? Yes. Well, if you watch my videos, you can learn that. Free. On YouTube. Is it explained in Pete's video course? Yes, in the course. But, you know, if you just want to get some idea and still get a lot of information, yeah, you know, my YouTube videos will tell you a lot of that basic stuff. Yeah, there's the scalping and then the main course, yeah. Do I purchase both at once or start with the main course for a scalping course? The main video course is like, that is my trading method. That's like my 10 years of trial and error and trying everything and figuring out everything, and my that's like my life's work. That's the main video course. The scalping is some setups that came about from observing charts and seeing certain things, certain opportunities where my main method is not going to give me an opportunity to get in. So then the scalp entries started showing up, which is for particular like market conditions. So that's basically the difference between the two, what they're all about. No supply is good after shakeout candle. Oh, a shakeout. Is there a reverse roundhouse bar or a sideways up thrust leading to climactic action? Yes. Well, I'm just making fun of the VSA terms, but yeah, high volume strength basically leading to a no supply. Yeah, that's good. If that's what you're saying. This trade definitely saw some weakness, right? Initially here, which was right after I got in. It doesn't erase everything, but if we're trying to push up and it just can't, I could just close it. If it tries to push up and volume's low, then we should be off. Back to the high or whatever. Next test. If we drop down, we could see buyers again, and that's why the stop loss is here. AJ, still got a piece of that, so I'm trying to see what happens here. But I'm probably, because I took some off of that position already, I'm probably up to like $35, $40, which is not bad for a 2K account on this one trade. And we'll see what it does. Let me see. Where am I now? I'm getting lost. More coffee. It's 5:10 a.m. New York City. All's well. Sure, no problem. Yeah, we were talking about the courses. Door principle that was okay. Okay, good. Yeah. So again, yeah, the main course. I mean, I've sold it for up to 450, and nobody complained when it was that high. So just to give you an idea, it's like 13 hours long, and again, everything. I'm like, let me just put everything in this. It was basically 2003. I started trading on and off. Starting like everybody else. And take a year off, whatever. Try again. And then by 2007, 2008, I was starting to put together what I'm doing now. So it was been refined and all that all this time and all that. So even then I made the course in 2014. Very good, very good. Do I trade for a living? Yes. I also do music production, a little this and that, which is initially what I was going to do for a living was music production, but that's kind of hard to have steady work. The music industry. So it's cool now where I just do, projects that I want to do. And it's not just about the money, so I could tell people no. But yeah, I got a couple projects going on now with that. A singer-songwriter that I'm working with. So I have my studio space that I rent where I do the recording and trading and my cave. What session time do you find is the best trade? Okay. You even initiated a trade today pre-London session. Yeah, which is rare, but we're in this condition now. And I kind of felt like Friday's storyline was going to continue as soon as possible, and then it started to happen. So I'm like, let me just start doing it on this account. But as far as time to trade, yeah, typically London Open. Usually, especially on my main account, I'm not really going to trust setups before London Open. 20, 30 minutes into London Open, I'll start trusting things on my real account. So there's that. But the market goes to these different states where it's a lot of it's centered around news as far as when you get the setups and when you get the movement. And what it has been for a while is New York session and the news, which is usually like 8:30 my time, New York, is going to help whatever I'm trying to do that day happen. Whether it's bad news and it drops down and then I get my long entry off a fib, off the drop. Or whatever it is, or I'm in a trade a little before that, and then news helps it play out at 8:30 a.m. It starts to move in my direction. So you probably noticed, that time where things start to play out, and the market's been like that for a while, at least a year or year and a half. But then there's other times in the past where London Open and in those first couple of hours are going to give you those good setups, and then by the time you get to U.S. session, it's already played out to some extent. And so me, not waking up at 3 a.m., missed that. And now I'm looking at this trade, which is half played out to a first target. And, now I have to get in before it gets too late or, chase it. So I didn't want to deal with that anymore. So, but yeah, a lot of times I'm up at 3 a.m., I map things out, and I may not be getting into a trade till 8:45 a.m. because, it's waiting for news. But of course, there's other times where I'm in the trade much earlier. So, but the question was the best time, The best thing is be on London Open and get prepared, mark up levels, decide what trades you want, let it come to you, and set alerts. And you don't have to stare at it. You can even go to bed and set the alerts to wake you up, depending where you live, if it's nighttime. But it is reasonable if you're, depending on your time zone, to just trade U.S. session at this point right now, the way things are. Because, again, a lot of times the news that U.S. is just helping things finally come together that I mark up at London Open that I want to see. That fib retracement, that fake breakout, whatever, finally happens. So it's totally reasonable to not. But you'll miss some now and then too, of course. What's up? We're live streaming. What risk percentage per trade do you use in your live account? 2%. Well, yeah, I mean, it's basically around 2% or 1.5. 2 is kind of my max, which I don't really reach. But I don't keep all the money in the trading account in order to do that. So, like the old school of thought is that, okay, you put this amount in your account and then you risk 2% of it. Okay, why is it all there? I mean, we have margin and things. I don't trust brokers with that much money. You know what I'm saying? That's just a side note. But I in my main account, I'm keeping as much money as I need in there in order to take the trade in the size that I need to take in order to risk what I'm comfortable with, rather than throw it all in the account and then do some 1 or 2% risk. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I'm comfortable with. I mean, I've seen brokers go out of business. I've seen, what was it, when the euro and the Swiss decoupled, or what was it called a couple of years ago? I saw people in negative and they owed their broker money. Like, brokers go out of business. Crazy stuff happens. World War III could break out. I don't want that much money in my Forex account. So it's up to the point where I can take this trade, size that I need to take when I'm comfortable with. Hopefully that explains the way I do it. Very welcome. Maximum risk. I really don't like to. Let me read the whole question. What is maximum risk you take per trade if it is the best trade opportunity you see? Well, I was talking about this recently. Maybe increasing my risk because my losses are becoming less and less and less and less. So I'm at the point where I really should push myself to. I don't have an issue with over risking. Maybe some people do. I do what I do when I'm comfortable with. Like, I don't let it stress me out. But I should really kick it up, especially on the really good setups. The way I really, losses happen, but like losing streaks never really happen anymore. But yeah, that wave that it's always taught where you just put this large amount of money in your account because it's going to be considered large for you because there you are risking 1 or 2 or 3% of this money. So if that's where you're comfortable trading, then you have all this extra money there, which you don't need in order to take that particular trade size, those amount of lots, whatever. So it's more for me just what I'm comfortable doing. But it is generally, if you look at like a general amount of capital that you have, total capital that you have, not just in your Forex account. And to really look at it that way, I'm risking 1% of that, 2% of that, of my capital, not my account. That way life never gets too messed up. If you have 3 or 4 losses in a row, like 4 is so rare, I'm still good. That really doesn't happen anymore, which is why I got to start pushing my risk. I'm very steady and safe with things, which could be a downside too. People risk too much, people risk too little. Some people close a trade too early, some people close it too late. Everybody has their quirks. But you plan it out and stick to the plan. You know what you're supposed to be doing and just do that. Because in the end, that's all you can trust. There's a reason why you do things like that. I'm rambling. It's 5:19, New York City all is well. Playing 2,000 account for fun. More coffee. Stocks? No. I messed with it a little and it was just not, it felt harder for me to do. It's the same thing that you could apply, but I don't know, there's something about the Forex market, maybe because I learned on it. But the liquidity, the lack of gaps, the cleanliness in the chart, it's just the cleanest thing to me. The way price tends to move and react to levels and just communicate things. the volume in tick, the tick volume to me is better than like real volume. I know that sounds weird. Well, real volume's fine too, and they're going to be similar, but like futures, like Forex futures, like the volume is very different. It's very extreme, right? Some of you might know. Like this could be 10 times higher than it is, and then all these are tiny, tiny, tiny down here. And the fluctuations in the activity are really extreme. And futures market, even though it's real volume, is only like 30% of the actual whole foreign exchange. So it's not really giving you a full picture like that. But the spot Forex being the majority of the market and the activity being so consistent and clean, I always say, yeah, that's my favorite. That's the easiest. Even Bitcoin, the cryptos, when they're moving well, it's not quite the same to me. Clarity on what's happening. Where are we with things? Not doing much. Okay. So the conclusion at this point is, yes, we saw a good amount of demand. And on the test for sellers, generally, there was some supply to some extent that showed up. So now we're sort of sitting around with demand there, some supply here. And now if we move up or down, we'll see what's going on again. If this moves down here, it could be another buying, sign of strength, fake break pattern. That's why my stop loss is out of the way. And I could even add to the trade at that point, especially with this more aggressive style right now. Because that would just be additional confirmation. And we get the unfinished U. This isn't supposed to be there. That was after I got in. And if irons don't show up and it breaks, okay, I'm out. And if we move up, we'll see what's up with sellers. Hopefully they go away and we can move up through there without high volume. And then it would be on its way. So that's where we are generally on these things. Because the US dollar and the yen are correlating strong. Or now perhaps turning. And driving everything. So we have a similar story here with the strength, the test. This is looking a little more bullish. Yeah, the one I'm short on. So yeah, it may end up like giving a climactic strength here. And then I'd move my stop up. So if that strength confirms, I get out. Maybe down to a fake break. What else? A roll of doobie? Doobie. You got papers? So as far as the scalps, again, I have a little Eurodollar long, which I could manage at this point, see how it's behaving. AJ short from here, partial profit taken. And the situation, again, kind of overall being correlated, like what am I going to do? Just start doubling up on things, It's just nothing to do until we start to get more of an answer. I could scalp the pound yen down to the support, Yeah. Oh, that's the euro. I was like, wait, that's not many pips. It's the pound yen. Ah, there it is. That would be a 15 pip scalp. Nah, that's not high probability enough for me to do that right now. Not with that demand showing up. That's interesting. Yeah, it's kind of almost a hedge in a way because they're correlating. And this is similar in position size because I started small on this one. This I took off like 2/3 of it, or 3/4 of it. But if things correlate downward and this ends up going and hitting the stop loss, This is very, very likely to be moving down with it, and it's a similar size, so it almost cancels out everything anyway. So as that runs more negative, this runs more positive. So it's not a terrible position to be in. You know, I'm okay with closing something negative and the other one running positive, whatever. It's all good in the end. I know it's a lot of green here, but losses are going to happen, and sometimes the best thing to do is just close it, whatever. Do what makes sense. What's up, everybody? Glad the stream was very easy to do and worked out. I can just do it on a whim now. Although I should probably schedule it. But if you guys want to be on my mailing list, I'll put it in the chat. Oh, I see some questions to answer here. So there's my website where you could sign up for the mailing list. And then you'll be notified. Really, you know. Now that I know this is like I can just hit go and stream and everything's good. I can plan it out and send you guys an email just saying there'll be a live stream today, whatever time. So you know in advance. So if you're on the mailing list on the website, you'll find out. And you won't get spammed. I won't sell your email. You probably get 2 emails a month. Let me get caught up in the chat. Jonathan, how are you? You're on vacation in Bangkok. Wow. Hello from New York. Do you check multiple time frames after you enter a trade? By the time I enter a trade, I'm pretty much aware of what levels and any information I could get from a larger time frame. I've already kind of done that work to know what I'm dealing with. So, you know. But, so like right now, I'm so focused on a small time frame because I know there's not much to look at higher. I know that's a support, and that's potentially either a fake break or a real break. If we break this without demand, it's going to continue. There's not much else I can get off of the any other time frame at this point. You know what I say about time frames? It's all the same exact thing. It's just grouping it together. The information is exactly the same. It's just organizing it differently. It's the same information. And people get all caught up. I'm not saying you necessarily, but people get caught up in time frames, probably because when you throw on an indicator and you start going through time frames, your indicator is saying, oh, it's bullish, oh, it's bearish, oh, it's bullish, oh, it's bearish. Well, let me pick a time frame and all that garbage. So it's the same information. It's just, you know, I can go to the 5-minute chart and zoom the hell out, and this is almost what I'm getting on the 1-hour chart anyway. Oh, there goes my euro. Meltdown 2020. So we'll see what happens. Now, this area, again, this showed selling, and right after I entered, again, yeah, lesson learned. That's why you don't enter aggressively, but it's all good. There was some supply that showed up. Now here, so that told us about sellers. This is going to tell us about buyers again here. So if we're here on low volume, that's likely just going to go. And I'm going to be devastated. But you see the volume kick up right there into that zone. So that's a good start. But we only need to see an upward reaction to confirm strength. But these fake breakouts just like to happen so often that this level could be a fake break here, but within it is a fake break. What is everybody trying to do here? Okay, so the AJ trade, which again is similar in size to the euro dollar, so, and that's looking like it's going to continue. So again, this is only slightly bigger. So as this, if this goes further into drawdown, that's going further into profit. So kind of whatever it does, it's fine. How many pairs do you focus on at one time? The main ones are these 6. the first. Oops, why did it jump around like that? Where'd my euro dollar go? I closed it by accident. But yeah, the first 6 pairs here. Once I get my euro dollar back over there. Because again, the way I look at the market and the way it really is that the U.S. dollar and the yen, majority of the time, are driving things, unless one of these currencies has their own story going on, and or the yen and the dollar is sort of uncertain and not moving. But generally, like we are now, moving down and then seeing if we're going to bounce or not, it's all being driven by the dollar and the yen. But so having the euro, the pound, and the Australian dollar versus the U.S. dollar, and then versus the yen. As far as other pairs, I just kind of, on a side note, might check. And if something's really, really textbook on something else, I may take it. But normally I'm just sticking to those 6. It just kind of becomes redundant, not as good. I don't trust the dollar CAD as much as I trust other things. UJ, again, is very correlated. A little could be rangy and balanced because they're both similarly weak or strong together a lot of times, which makes it flat. But yeah, it's mainly these pairs. 90% of the time, that's what I'm taking a trade on. Let's see. Are there always a setup every trading day? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Right now, conditions are really good. It ends up, then there's the other extreme where it's so uncertain or so dead, lack of volatility or whatever it is, that it's, absolutely no trade. The way I put it is, if you're taking a trade every day, you're trading some sort of, regular sort of method like me, not, taking 15 scalps or some weird stuff. But if you're a regular day trader and there aren't days where you don't take a trade, you're trading every single day, then you're over trading, because there are going to be days that are unpredictable. And the chart says it's unpredictable. The chart says there's not a high probability move. It definitely does happen. One of the most common days is like a Thursday before the big news Friday, non-farm unemployment, the U.S. news. That's a big one. It's always the first Friday of every month. So, for example, the day before that Thursday is probably one of the least traded days of mine. If you had, that probably has, stat-wise, it's a day where I don't take a trade very often. Then there's times where you're just waiting for big news or whatever. You have an unclear background and large news is coming out, so you kind of wait and hope the news cleans things up. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Right? But yeah, so there's definitely days that are just, there's not a high probability move. And really knowing what's going on in the market, and you'll know that. And I don't want to risk my money on that if that's the case. But for example, like, what would be bad? If let's say we get into a little area here where we get stuck sideways, just an example of like a no trade situation, no matter what. We're in this, and it's a small range, and you end up with some buying off the low, some selling off the high, as far as the activity showing up, but it's not huge, and you're just kind of stuck. And let's say you go into another day and you're really not seeing that, and then some news comes out and it's kind of a mess, and that's the end of the day. It would be a no trade day then, right? There has to be an imbalance, there has to be a clear situation. Sometimes the market is definitely uncertain and has to wait for numbers or whatever to clean itself up, or a vote, or something's got to happen, or an interest rate decision. But the good thing is, once those happen, they tend to clean things up, and you have that to your left, on some high activity decision making. So the AJ is just touching that area. So again, it was like 50 fib of the up move, seeing what goes on with strength in there, and then, unless it was looking terrible, take some profit, stop at break even, and wait for this. And now we're there. Just kind of got there, which is the support here. And that's the market open, so I'm not sure if it's accurate. One broker to another might be different depending on when the broker opens and stuff. But also just below that, it seems to be respecting it. Also just below that is this demand zone, as I call it, or whatever you want to call it, where it's going to represent some buy activity and could give strength. If buyers are very interested, they're going to show up like right away here and through here. So this ends up the target area right now. We just started to touch it. Let's get a little lower, actually hit that support and see what's going on. So euro dollar, we'll see what happens. Oh, I had to reopen the chart, so I don't have my level. Bit of buying down here. Hopefully some more comes in. So the pound is an interesting situation where, yes, the demand did show up, and the pound has been particularly weak. But on the test for sellers here, there's a bit of volume. New high ground after that is going to tell you about supply sellers, which is here, the test area, the new high ground, high volume. And now here, new high ground over this swing point here, high volume. So there is selling coming in, there is supply coming in. But the demand is sort of running it over right now, plowing right through. So it's not an imbalance situation, where you see demand and low volume on the tests for sellers. They're actually there. There's just more buying than selling, though. So, knowing the details of that situation right there. Which doesn't make for a great prediction, because, yeah, you're moving up off strength, but sellers are showing up on tests for seller areas, and the higher you go, the more you're likely you're going to keep seeing them, and even more of them. And a fib here gives us, okay, and if that does a proper break of this 618 without the overshoot, then we're going to test here next. What else? Check the chat. Not much. I'll probably end it soon. But yeah, I put the website address in the chat there if you want to just sign up on the mailing list, and then you'll get notified. This was just on a whim, but now I know I can easily just stream. It's all good to go on this computer. And I can plan them in advance. So that's looking okay, right? The euro dollar long. If this was higher volume here, like this, we have the unfinished U minus the that would have been better. But at least off of this, things got kind of quiet, so at least there was an increase relative. And let's see the reaction. But again, like if you have a price area where they're buying in large amounts, and then you put your stop loss in that area, often you're going to end up having your stop loss hit, then simply they're just buying, they're just accumulating for a little while, and then you got kicked out, and it goes up without you. So it's really fine to revisit this area after an entry. It's when it breaks, and the strength is not there, the volume increase, that actually says get out of the trade. So the stop loss is logically placed where the probability of your trade playing out is actually now turning, instead of just getting caught by something like that. It was still pretty small. What was it? 15 pips or something. Now, if this is the move of the day, we'll see if it bounces or breaks. If we just end up here. Or even a fib retracement of that is very possible. that'll be a test area either way. As far as a scalp, I could always close some, see how it reacts. What else? All right, I'll probably end this in a minute. That was fun. Man, time flies doing this stuff. Everybody's still hanging around, huh? Again, it's fun to, like, if you know what you're doing, aggressive scalp and all that, but quick gratification or something. But right now, I'd just be doubling up or like putting my money on a situation that just, to put more risk on it, I would need more information. It'd just be really random. Start throwing on more scalps at this point. Either random, or not enough, lacking critical information, or doubling up on what I'm already risking. Speaking of doubling up, if this was high volume here, I might have added, if it's looking really good, especially if that didn't show up, and this was high volume, that I could add. I could, have potentially added to this after having seen more confirmation. But I'll leave it where it is for now. Don't want to give away all those huge profits. But yeah, this is probably maybe even inspirational. I don't know, to see that with a small account, it might even be worth your time. I mean, you could do a 5,000 account, and yeah, technically, risk-wise, percentage-wise, it's a little aggressive. But if you know what you're doing. But like we were talking about earlier, a good way to grow the account. Reward good behavior, not bad behavior. If I was learning, still trying to grow a small account and be consistent, and starting with 2,000, if you drop below, like I said, if it drops below 2,000, you can't add money to it to put it back up. You got to trade it back. Otherwise, if you can't even be break even, you shouldn't be throwing money at it. But again, if I get this up to 2,300, 2,500 by the end of the week, it kind of gives me the confidence, okay, markets are good. Also, I have the right environment for this stuff. And this was just kind of me warming up to it again after not being this aggressive really for a while. And throw some more in there. But never throw money to make up for losses, just to reward good behavior, good conditions. That's a good way to do it. All right, AJ, let's go. How about that trade? Come on now. There's the entry. It's going to jump. Yep. And now, again, this is new low ground under the support. Maybe, because that's market open, and yeah. But it's also the zone, start of the zone. So either way, we're getting information about buyers now. So as far as like managing a trade, this might be one good last thing to do, to talk about as this is happening real time. So the more volume that comes in here, we're just starting to get into this area now to apply this. This is the zone. So the more volume shows up here, it represents demand. And we're really, if we can get in there a little further. But this was the support. So we can even go now to the 1 minute and take a close look, because it's about price areas, not time frames, at how much buying came in into this new low ground. It tells you about buyers. Not a huge spike. That's just a little tiny initial piece of information. Let's find out. But this was basically now target area. So what I could do, for example, is bring my stop down to 666. And if it breaks this little 14 EMA, a little swing point, we bounce off and make a little higher high. Okay, I'm out. But who knows? Maybe it'll run through. Maybe it'll show down here lack of buying. But if it bounces and this becomes a confirmed fake break, breaking 14 EMA and stuff, so I can put my stop right there, maybe. And that's kind of what I would do in real time. Maybe not yet, but here in the near future. Giving it a second here, because we're just kind of bouncing around. I don't want to get kicked out for no reason, but let's see what's happening with demand. That's what it's all about, this area. Show us the activity of demand. Again, here was some demand that came in. Lower price, here was some demand that came in. And now if we go into new low ground and we have lower volume than these guys, we have a change. We have buyers really backing off. Because if demand is really present and active, accumulation stuff, the lower you go, the more you're going to get. Lower prices attract more and more buyers in any market. That's how markets work. So if they don't show up, we really have an obvious change in sentiment. These buyers are just not doing it. And from there, the breakout is likely. So just talk about managing a trade. Why not use the information, right, to decide how to manage it? Up 19.9 pips. Are you planning on doing more live sessions this week? Yeah, it's never something that I really planned, but you know what? Maybe we should do it Friday. Could plan for it Friday, because I do the sessions a paid subscription off my website Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if I do it, it's typically going to be Monday and Friday. Maybe London Open a little before. But like I said, join the mailing list on the website that I typed in there. And so I'll send out notifications. But yeah, we could plan for Friday, right? Why not? Unless I'm really tired or something. You don't have to be up at 3 a.m. for this stuff. And then we have stuff to do during the day. My kid's been sick, so, I got to pitch in, take care of her. Sometimes during the day, everybody's getting sick. Don't get sick. People have been sick for weeks. I don't know where you live, but it's a tough winter. Sleep good, eat good, drink water, take your vitamins. I'm here telling people to do that. But anyway, yeah, let's plan for Friday. Unless I'm really just not up to it or something. Tentative plan for Friday. So join the mailing list and you'll find out. All right, good. Okay, so I was going to go, but just maybe just see about managing this trade, just because it could be helpful to see. Right now, there's no reason to do anything. We're getting to an area that's just started to tell us about buy activity, and we don't see any increase in activity there. Now, there is a slight probability of a bounce, an increase in probability that it's not going to go any further, simply because it's at this level. Let's talk about probabilities. This drop is nice, but there's less of a chance of us just dropping now that we're here. So that in itself, you want to be cautious here and not let it run back on you. But if I don't see buyers, I tend to be very patient and not manage the trade because that's suggesting a breakout. But at some point here, I can lock in pips to where we're rejecting this and coming up. All right, we're bouncing off support then, right? So just get out. So like I said, 666, 75666. They keep pointing to that. That's where I can put my stop. Here, let me go to the thingy. Yeah, I'll move my stop down. 666, the devil's number. Let's make it 667. Let's not do 666. Can you see my stop on here? Oh, stop. Yeah, you can see it. Okay. I'm doing it on my phone, so that's interesting. We'll see it change in real time. So what am I doing? 666. 75667. Okay, let's do that. There you go. Order updated. So it locked in like whatever that was, $17.15 or something. If it pops up, that's what I'll get off of that trade. Well, off of the last third of the trade. I started off with 40,000 or 43,000 or something. What else? All right, that's it. I was just going to see if I'm managing this. So yeah, so that's here. Stop is now here, which I'm comfortable with. And pretty much like what I might do on my live account. Yeah, I would do the same at this point. Yeah, it kind of depends. I don't know. I want to see how much buying comes in or not. But then again, like I said, there's a probability of a bounce just because it's there. Increased probability. It's a tough choice. So this was a decent reaction here to see. Again, this tells us about buyers in this box. So we were coming off some really quiet activity, and then we did that. And that as a result, so another 14 EMA test, maybe on low volume. And then we try to push through the automatic rally section area. Automatic rally is defined as first level of resistance after strength. There's our strength. Here's our first level, but when you fail to break, you update, especially when you have a double bottom. It's the point in between, the high point in between. So if we try to move up through here and just get a ton of weakness again, I could just close it around break even, plus or minus a couple of dollars, whatever. Listen to the chart. Because there's limited, some buying here. Again, if there's large supply weakness, it's headed back down, and the buyer's going to show up. Right, just get out. So this, for me, like, there's nothing wrong with closing a trade minus 4 pips, because the chart is saying it's just not what it was when you got in, and things are not looking good. And you can avoid full position losses by just reacting and saying, I'll take the small loss. Because my risk in my trade right now doesn't match what's going on in the chart. Now I'm in hope territory. I'm in hope and pray that the chart is wrong so that my trade could play out. Like, oh, no, just get out. If you're down 8 pips and it's that bad, just get out, right? That's what I do. Whatever the chart says, I should be matching that. If I have a big risk position, it's because things are looking good. All right, now I'm just rambling. But I think it's good, helpful stuff. All right, so I should have an option to have this live stream posted. It should have automatically recorded it and all that, hopefully. So if you got here late or you want to hear anything again. All right. Again, I do this live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You could join on the website. And for people who are subscribed to me but really maybe haven't checked out the stuff, check out the YouTube videos. They're free. There is no better way to read a chart. There is no better way to know what the heck's going on. This is me playing around. That's what this account is. And this will be cool. Let's try to grow it. Let's see what happens. So yeah, maybe I'll see you guys on Friday. Tentative plan for the next live stream. Are there more setups during London Open or New York Open? Like I was saying earlier, the market goes through its different moods. Right now, a lot of the setups are more around New York Open. And a lot of the good stuff that we map out, I'm just waiting for it to come to me. And, around the New York news, it tends to happen. But there are certainly setups that are earlier, too. And that's why I have to be up at 3 a.m. because I can't miss those. And open my chart at the New York session and see a trade that I missed. So maybe it's slightly leaning towards right now, the mood of the market is leaning towards New York. But, yeah, there's enough setups early where I have to be up at 3 a.m. and ready to go. I don't want to miss it, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Yeah. So, yeah, kind of both, but maybe leaning towards New York right now, the way the market is. Exciting times in the U.S. market. Jeez. I always said the economy is so easy to fix. Somebody just do it. Stop messing around. It wasn't that hard. Lower taxes. Get rid of regulation and give businesses some sort of certainty and improve the trade deals. So like Trump or not, he just did the obvious. Thank you, finally, somebody. Okay, let's not get political. All right, guys. See you maybe on Friday, unless you join me at the session tomorrow. But otherwise, join the mailing list on the website, and I'll let you know about live streams in the future. All right, this was fun, guys. We'll keep messing with this account, see what we can do. Good conditions. All right, have a good one. See you next time.